Alright guys, here we are, back to nature, episode 2. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the excellent, highly potential nuclear transition to Latin America for alternative agriculture potential, right? For Plan B. It's too easy. It's too smart right now to get a Plan B in Central or South America. I've been here for 15 years, all over Central and South America. I know the best places for what you're looking for. I've got deals ready to go right now. We can get healthy animals, healthy species in place, right? Alternative, like the spirit tip of alternative agriculture is what I'm talking about. All right, you could do a place like that. The construction of that is about 10K probably. All right, you can get land like that, hills, everything, for about $4 a meter, right? So buddy, you are healthy, man. You are healthy. Because they're tropical, diverse grass fed, and we're evolving the procedure. We've already revolutionized it, and it's getting better and better as we go. And so you can come down here and get something like this, 30K or something for 4 hectares. 2.5 acres per hectare, but hectare is the measurement here. Again, $4 a meter, more or less. You can get started. You can put a Plan B home. I put a Plan B home, and then I put a $1,000 home for an indigenous person. And since I get respect from them and I help them, I get the best ones. Because anytime you do bad team selection anywhere in the world and you put liabilities in place where assets should be, you're messing up, right? So our management's pretty schooled on curation and cultivation in people and plants and animals. We're going after the best characters, the best genetics, right? The strongest situation. So for you are in a much more strong situation, even negotiating back at the New York business table, right? Because you can walk away. You've got a Plan B in Central or South America that you can go to. And this is one of probably 100 areas I'm working in right now, constantly traveling. This can really expand for a young, dependable person into a great life just working in this, even if you don't have the investment capital. But we need tough, dependable farmer people, man. You know, very, very valuable in this particular vein of occupation that's never going away. You will be happier about your investment in Plan B diverse tropical agriculture than you will in a Bitcoin, than you will in a gold bar. In this particular region that I'm in right now, I am in somewhere about the 8-degree mark from the equator. Everything from the 10-degree mark up, if there's some kind of weather engineering accident or nuclear winter type contaminant that kicks up in the northern or southern hemisphere, the buffer zone would be the 10-degree mark from the north and the 10-degree mark from the south of the equator. That's the purification zone. If there was contaminants and nuclear explosions or who knows what, volcanic eruptions on both northern and southern hemisphere, the planet would regrow from here, right where I am, or somewhere in between. Maybe some of the Venezuela grab was about that, who knows? Speaking of a new frontier of investment for people likely, but I've got a solid situation that works good. And look at this. This is picture book beautiful. You know, you guys are going through the most hellacious snowstorm, and I'll put a link below about that. I'll put a bit.ly cross link between it because, yeah, people are making grievous mistakes. You know, you can see this in nature. You know, sustainability. Okay, so Parselius tells us everything is both a toxin and a remedy. It's the dose decides. Well, you've got too big of a government, too big of a community, too big of a city, and stuff starts getting toxic, right? Nature heals, by the way, everything. But we can do small hydropower out here. We can do small wind power out here. We can do small solar power out here, and all this stuff will kick much more than it will up there. And if we do it in sustainable numbers, just in our own communities, in our own places, and I've got sites to show you right now. I've got small communities. If I hang out with you for a minute and get to know you first, and I decide I like you, and you're not going to be a liability, and you'll be a potential asset. I'll take you to some places where people have already liquidated huge fortunes in the north and come down here and built incredible things, some of them as groups of friends and communities and stuff, and I can show you how ain't none of them wanting to go back, and they're having great days out here, and so a lot of them don't have social media or anything. Doesn't that sound nice, right? Just concentrate off on this. I'm really only on social media for valiant purposes, like to bring people to this, because just being a part of the alternative agriculture demand supply, you're making people healthy. You can educate new oligarchs and sell directly to them. Trust me, once they see what you got going on, they're going to be like, okay, here's the number to my personal chef. They're going to tell the personal chef, buy everything you can off of these guys. This is an incredibly talented situation, super nutrition, and look at them in the gym. You know, BrandonAngelFitness.com, NutritionalDiversity.com. Please like, follow, subscribe, share this with someone. Do this with somebody. Have a plan B. I know the guy who will manage it for you. Right? Our little tribe down here of hardcore trustworthy people that are just obsessed with nature and actually in a field they love, with the strength and inner core to be able to do that and choose that, so that your plan B can be growing, and you don't even need to be down here, but you'll want to come, and each time you do, you're going to be crying on the flight out. I've seen this already 100 times, you know. I want to bring this blessing to you if you're so cosmically guided, if you're probably, you're already on the path. You're finding this video as that path illuminates. And not many people are going to find this video, believe it or not. And I'm not for many people, and not many people are for me. I'm looking for the strong species. I'm very selective about what's going on in my garden. Right. I'm very smart and strategic. And once you get down here and you start doing this and you get involved, you'll start finding deals all over the place. If you make the right moves, people and their lives change, and they make new all the time. We should all be moving and changing as much as possible. That's what we're here for, man. We're here to learn inside the realist environment that there is, not the man-made one that distracts you from this one. All right, this is where true growth happens for us, for the kids that we truly love, and we truly made the sacrifice and the jump and past the fear. All right, success favors the courage and the prepared, the courageous and the prepared. And So once you get down here, you'll be able to find more deals. You'll be able to network with more people, and before you know it, you might have 20 little plots like this all over Central and South America. And then, wow, look at that. There's a road to riches in nature. It doesn't all have to be Bitcoin and internet. And what happens if there is an EMP thing, like the Sean Ryan prediction? You know, what if there is a power grid mess up? What if there is whatever kind of engineered ice age? What if there is some Gestapo? What if there is some dictatorship? Well, because I'm in Panama, so I'll just say, you know, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, they've all got pros and cons and differences and stuff. You know, I'm looking at Panama. When Panama just protested right here, this huge protest, their social security system, this mine, there's several things, right? There's that corruption in all governments, man. You know, Americans can't be boastful talking about how they don't have it, because it's the worst in America, worse than here. But when there was big protests, you know, the United States Navy parked a destroyer right outside of Panama City. The United States has a policy to protect that canal, to protect world commerce, to protect prosperity and health and a healthy economy. So, Panama's very safe. There's no gorillas out in the jungle here ever. The population's very small. I really highly recommend the investment. You can get residency here once you've got some investing going on. You can get a gun license here. You can own firearms, AKs, everything. Or no, not AKs. AR-15s, everything. AK is the one thing I don't think you can have here. Is an AK-47. That's just because they dropped a whole bunch of them everywhere, and they're trying to pick them up now. At one point. So, and I think it was the U.S. that dropped them. And, trying to get people to, I forget what it was. Anyway, not important. But yeah, you get more rights here almost than you do in the States. Less regulations, way cheaper costs. It doesn't, you won't believe me that house was only 10 grand. Yeah. So for 20, 30 grand, you can pick up a big piece of land like this and put a house on it. So you can really play Monopoly down here, you know. And I've seen a lot of people do the the multi-family investment, commercial properties with multi-families on top of homes. I've seen people really knock it out of the park here, you know, and turn out great rental income streams, and multiple streams, right? Agriculture income, rental income, you know, and they've got self-sustaining, self-powered. The Pro 2026 is the perfect time to do this. You know, once again, you will be surprised how little you need to liquidate up there to get massive assets down here. And it's just a no-brainer to me. It's a no-brainer to me. And you can get a hold of us at Nutritional Diversity on Instagram, nutritionaldiversity.com, and we'll help you get it together, man. And again, it's a no. Look at those healthy babies. Right? Right? There ain't nothing cooler than being a professional cowboy. And, you know, everybody wants to be baller these days. You ain't baller until you got your own agriculture. You know, and I'm the way, a great way. And we'll be composing nutritional diversity diets, you know. So if one of you UFC guys wants to get your own agriculture, man, come down here and train. You might be surprised. I mean, one way to find out about what we're doing down here in this biological optimization pursuit. And if you're interested in some of these sustainable community developments or sustainable family developments, I have a pamphlet. It's an abstract. It's rough. I'll tell you that right now. But there's a link below. And you can kind of look through that and get an idea more of what I'm talking about and the technicals. And now you really can create an optimal health situation inside of God's intended environment. And there's just every kind of benefit, both financial and otherwise operational, in doing so. One other thing, so I talked about, composting. Last time, you guys can start messing with composting, home composting. I told these guys in the mastermind, they were asking me, I was showing them one of my velociraptors, how my chickens are so much beastier than the normal. And he's like, yeah, he's like, they don't run off, they're free. I was like, yep. And there's all kinds of places around here where the chickens are caged and they live their whole lives in their own feces and this bullshit. And I tell the people that they're assholes, but they don't listen to me. And my chickens roam free. He's like, they don't run away. So, sometimes you might lose one or two, but they're beastie. If you lose them, it'll probably be to theft or to a snake, not to or to a dog, but not so much. But mine are tough, and I let them free from day one so they learn to defend themselves. And I give them these big buckets of worms because I don't do the compost thing I said in the last video. Instead, I just put some wire mesh on top of it, some chicken wire, whatever, on top of the bucket. I put the bucket up high. I let the flies hit it, keep the birds out of it, right? With the wire mesh, I let the flies hit it. And then the grubs start going. About 4 weeks here, that whole bucket's moving. It's just nothing but grubs. You dump that thing out, chickens are like, what the? Not only do they build muscle, but they're like, I love you, I'm never leaving. And as that rotation continues, they know mores are coming their whole life. They're not gonna leave this guy, this place. Shoot, man, if somebody comes around here, we're gonna defend him. We're attack velociraptors now, right? Because he treats us as such. Right? So there's a biological process over here that you can soup up. Very, 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 very easy tactics that nobody does, man. That nobody does to create insanely optimal. And dude, like, nature recognizes it. Nature recognizes it. At all my sites, one thing visitors will say all the time, man, you can definitely tell that what you're doing is in the right direction because of the amount of wildlife that comes in all on its own. There's a higher density of bird life is the first thing people notice. But then also they see my animals and they're like, wow, that's a healthy, the fruits just, as the old book says, right? And what are we supposed to do, guys? We're supposed to do the right things. We're supposed to tell the truth. We're supposed to do the best that we can. And we've not done the best that we can in stewardship of this beautiful blessing of a planet. So you work in this and you're working in the right. You're working in the truth. You're working in the light. You know what I mean? And you'll be a psychologically healthy, physically healthy, spiritually healthy, mentally healthy individual that can donate that health to their surroundings, because it's all contagious. And we need to start taking a lot better responsibility for things. Ain't that right, Blue? Ain't that right, Blue? Yes. We gotta really love each other, man. We're just so full of love. Right? We gotta get away from the toxic soup, right? Right? She'll be like, man, that's enough in this sterile home. You standing there staring at that computer like a zombie. It's time to do our checks. We keep each other in check. The biological accountability process really keeps you in check. Can't be messing up when you got lives of animals depending on you, right? And you don't want to give that relationship up. You want to just keep earning and building once you get far enough down. And trust me, guys. So I'm telling you about nature. I'm telling you about truth and lies. I'm telling you about this great plan B here. What do you got to tell me? Till the next one.